At the start of 409, the imperial senate asked Emperor Honorius to come to peace terms with the Visigoths. The emperor, however, refused, and instead marshaled a force of 6,000 men to march to Rome to garrison it against any future attack by the Goths. The commander of this force, however, thought it cowardly to hide behind walls and instead marched straight at Alaric. This force was intercepted and ambushed by Alaric and slaughtered. Only 100 men made it to Rome. After this, the Pope himself came to Honorius to plead with him to make peace. At the same time, another Gothic force had crossed the Alps under the command of a brother-in-law of Alaric's. Honorius refused the idea of peace again, and instead marshaled what men he could in northern Italy, including Huns, and placed this force under the command of his close advisor Olympius, who had no military background. They confronted Alaric's brother-in-law near Pisa and were forced to retreat back to Ravenna. Those Goths then joined Alaric. This failure caused Olympius to flee the capital to Dalmatia. Jovius, the head of the Praetorian Guard, replaced Olympius as the power behind the throne. His first act was to start clearing the capital of his political enemies. Jovius, who had been a supporter of Stilichos, opened negotiations with Alaric. At the meeting, Alaric demanded annual tributes of gold and grain, including good farmland in Dalmatia, Noricum, and Venetia for his people. Jovius also recommended to Honorius that he give Alaric a title and office. The emperor refused, and instead sent an insulting letter about Alaric to the meeting, which was read out loud. Alaric broke off the negotiations with the Romans and departed the peace meeting. Jovius then went back to the capital to prepare for war. However, Honorius began recruiting an army of some 10,000 Huns to join his cause, and fearing the Huns, Alaric sent a number of Roman bishops to Honorius to restart talks. This time he only wanted land in Noricum and grain, but Honorius rejected this as well. Alaric then gathered his army and marched on Rome. The 10,000-man Hun force never appeared. In late 409, he arrived at Rome and began the siege. He demanded the people of the city to proclaim one of their own as emperor, and he would fight under him against Honorius. The Romans agreed and offered up the elderly Priscus Attalus for the job. Alaric and his brother-in-law both then received Roman titles. Heraclian, the Roman governor of Africa, refused to bow to Attalus, and so the new emperor sent a small Roman force out of the citizens of the city to go bring him to heel. Alaric and Attalus then departed the Eternal City to confront Honorius. Along the way, they subdued several cities to their control. Honorius sent Jovius to negotiate with Attalus to offer him a power-sharing situation, but Attalus refused and would only negotiate on the young emperor's destination of exile. Jovius then declared his allegiance to Attalus and switched sides. Upon defeating Honorius, Jovius wanted him to be mutilated, which Attalus refused to do. In panic, Honorius made preparations to flee the capital. However, a force of 4,000 Eastern Roman troops arrived at Ravenna, ready to defend him. More good news for Honorius came when Attalus's force sent to Africa was defeated by Heraclian. Then he cut all sea-bound supply routes to Rome. Alaric demanded Attalus allow him to go to Africa to put the governor there down, but the emperor refused. So counseled by Jovius, Alaric stripped Attalus of his imperial title and regalia and reopened talks with Honorius.